one of the most powerful women in this state, and she's here with us in the studio. Hello, Pauline Rivera. Good to have you aboard. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. It's so
Great.
good to have you here. That's the camera right there. You could wave it to everybody around the world. All right. And in case you're wondering who I'm calling a powerful woman, I guess we could call you an owner of La Voz de Colorado.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, the owner and the editor and cook and bottle washer, and that's
The
what
whole
happened.
works.
Right, right. So tell me about La Voz, 41 plus years. You got to, man, and you've carried the torch. Tell me
Yes,
about
that's true. Back in 1974, there was such a need for the Latino community to have their voice heard.
it. Right,
And so the original owners, Wanda and Jose Padilla, developed them in the basement of their home. Well,
wow,
lo and behold, I did a project with them, with Wanda back in 2006.
right,
And 2 years later, I owned the company. Never did I think I would go in that direction, but there was an opportunity that lent itself. My husband and I purchased the company in 2008,
right.
and it's been really, really successful. It really is the voice of the Latino community, and it's becoming very widely known in mainstream circles as well. So we're very proud of its accomplishments.
You know, La Voz de Colorado, if you haven't been on there, you haven't been recognized because I don't know if you saw that picture of Federico Peña and myself. That was way back when. I put that on Facebook, and that was back in the 70s, and that's when he had first been elected as mayor of the city of Denver. And I was on there. I've been there a couple of times, but I'll tell you what, La Voz de Colorado, and the fact that they're still using the term Chicano, and I love that. You know, it's one of those things where you're not afraid to go out, reach out there. You cover some great stories, and the other part I like, besides being online, you're all over the city. I mean, King Supers everywhere.
That's true. And, the need for a Latino population is growing by leaps and bounds. In
Right.
fact, the 2010 U.S. Census said the Latino population in Colorado had grown by 42%. Now, if that doesn't do
Wow.
something to folks, it should. And so we're expanding. We're in Pueblo, Colorado. We're in Greeley. We're in all of the suburbs of Denver, and we hope to expand into a couple of other states here, maybe in the next 2 years.
Awesome. Maybe
So
New
we have plans.
Mexico?
Maybe so. That's my home state, so
That
more
is
than
true.
likely. Yes.
Well, you know, we're kind of paisanos here. We're both from New Mexico. I'm originally from Las Vegas. I don't know where you're from.
I'm from a little town called Costilla. It's about 40 miles
I'm
north of
familiar with it.
Taos.
Yes.
And I graduated from Cuesta High. So very,
All right.
very beautiful part of New Mexico.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, you know, I think there's where we have some ties, Pauline, and the fact that this week's edition of your cover features the none other than Mr. Al Hurricane, El Godfather, and truly is. I'll tell you, he deserves this front cover that you did for him. Tell us a little bit about how you're tied in, how you feel about it, how you grew up with El Señor Al Hurricane.
Well, I'll tell you, New Mexico music is a little different. I grew up, I tell folks, I started school when I was between the age of 5 and 6, and everyone in my class was bilingual. We didn't think it was a big deal then,
Right.
but now that you look back, we all knew 2 languages, which is pretty incredible.
Oh, yes.
And that's kind of how the music was in New Mexico.
Right,
You
right.
you danced to rock and roll, you danced to rancheras.
Right.
You loved Al Hurricane, Tiny Maury, Baby Gaby,
Oh, yeah.
and now Tobias Renee and that group.
Right.
And so that's the music we grew up listening to.
Right.
And Mr. Al Hurricane Sr., he's just an incredible legend. I mean, does rock and roll. He played with the best of them. Fats Domino, Chubby Checkers.
Exactly.
A friend
Marvin Gaye. He
Marvin
played with
Gaye
that
as
Marvin
well,
Gaye. I couldn't
yes.
believe that, and I did have a chance to interview him when I was at Telemundo, and one of the questions to me was to him. I asked him, Al, I mean, you've been to Spain, you've done it all. When do you retire? He goes, retire? He says, retire to what? You retire, then you die. So, so he has kept going. Unfortunately, this is probably what we call the win or buy tour. You know,
That's right.
and
That's right.
it's just his health just can't take it
Right.
anymore. And I mean, he's not only left a legacy, he's leaving a legacy, but he's also inspired a lot of the young musicians to continue la música nueva mexicana. And the fact that, people like AJ Martinez, which is a guitar player, and I'm telling you what, he's just as, if not a little better now than El Hurricane. And he's got his own albums out. You got, Gonzalo, Robbie Jude, Nathan Richards. I mean, there was a lot of inspired young artists who have come up and done it as well and are doing it right now to continue that music. What do you say we play one of Al Hurricane's songs since we're talking about it? Then we'll talk about his Bueno Bye tour coming to Denver. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, we're talking once again with Pauline Rivera from La Voz de Colorado, and everybody in the world knows about that paper. We kind of went sideways a little bit, but we figured front page. What do you expect? Come on, of La Voz de Colorado. Did you bring me a couple of fresh copies?
I did. They're in my car. I'll get them for you.
We got to get them. All right. Let's hear some El Hurricane right here on KUHSdenver.com. So we're still on. We're on the camera. So anybody want to say hi to out there?
Friends and family, the readers. We love the readers. Our support group that always looks for La Voz, always is there, always remembers that that's the paper that was there for them and will be there
from the beginning.
From
yes.
The beginning, yeah. So we love that.
And I like the fact that I think you did a 5-part series on the Chicano struggle and Movimiento. And who was a contributing editor on that?
James Mejia did the 5-part story, and I have some good news to share. We're actually going to reprint it. It was printed over a 5-week period, but we're going to do the whole 5 articles in one publication coming up before the end of the year.
Wow, that is awesome.
So that it's something that you can keep
right.
together.
And you know what? It's funny because it's part of the Movimiento. We have a little part here in Henry Archuleta. I don't know if you remember Archuleta Productions.
I do.
That's this guy. And
now I know.
Yeah, yes. He's the one that brought in all the groups and made all this craziness happen, benefits and all that. Tell us about it, brother.
Oh, man, that goes back a long way. We'd be sitting here for at least 10 years telling you all about this stuff.
Right.
We've been at it 41 years, and it's been a gas doing all this kind of stuff. Now we're bringing it back because everybody who used to be around back in the day was 14 to 18 years old. Now everybody's 40, 50 years old.
Right.
So you can call everybody up on the phone, whether they be local, regional, or national.
Right.
I can call them up on the phone. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
Come in for an interview. So it's really been helpful and beneficial to what we're doing.
Right. So, the way I was tying it in is because you got people like Henry who's doing this. I was telling them that we came in at the cusp of internet versus not knowing how to even log in your computer
Sure.
At our age. I say our age because you're much younger than us, but we made it. We made it to the cusp, and we're in, and now we're realizing that the world of internet and radio, and I was happy to see that online you could just click your paper. That's how I printed that out because I'm like, I need to get a paper, and I was able to print it out and select which pages I wanted. It just shows you the power of internet and how that goes.
The cool thing, Paul, is that you can read it in English or Spanish with just a click of your mouse. So if you want the content in Spanish, that's what you're going to get. If you want it in English, that's incredible. That's what it's all about. That's the face of America today.
Right. Well,
Well, I know Trump wouldn't do that, would he?
Trump?
He wouldn't do it in Spanish, would he?
Well, if he does, he'll have the option to go to whatever language he wants.
I was in LA over last 2 weeks, and they got T-shirts out that says Trump is tripping because he's putting his foot in his mouth, isn't he? And we're going to touch on that too. We'll go to these commercials and then come back. Yeah, we're going to go to some commercials. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking live with the owner of La Voz de Colorado. And I'll tell you what, one of the mainstays in the world of print. And, they talk so much about, I say they because I'm also involved in print, and I'll talk to you about that later. But they talk about print and it going away. I think number one, the pass along is just enormous. You're holding it, you're touching it. Anytime you get online and internet, there's somebody knowing exactly where you're going and what you're doing. I think grabbing a paper and reading it It's nobody's business. You're reading what you want to read and you're doing what you want to do. I think it's kind of the privacy deal. And if you want to go online, that's good too. So I think print is not going anywhere.
It is not, and I'll tell you why. There are two really important things that say print is not going away. First of all, if there's an audience for whatever line of work you're in, or a customer or client, it's going to stay alive.
Sure.
And so La Voz is a bilingual publication that seeks out a certain market, and it's a niche market. Nobody else has it. The advertisers know that.
Right.
And so the advertisers are going to keep these type of newspapers alive. So yes, you're going to hear, oh, print is dying. That's true of daily newspapers because they have such a huge overhead and they have to get out a product every single day.
Sure.
But you're talking about weeklies that have a niche market like La Voz.
Right.
They're true.
Right.
They're there to stay.
Cool. We're going live. KUHSRadioDenver.com. Once again, we're here live. We'll let that commercial go through. Ernest Gomez. Good guy.
The law offices of Ernest Gomez at 303-623-7000.
Los Viejitos de San Luis. That's cool.
KUHSDenver.com have an exclusive offer for you. If you find the certificate number for the law offices of Ernest Gomez on our website, you can have an exclusive offer from the law offices of Ernest Gomez to pay what you can. That's right, pay what you can. Only for listeners of KUHSDenver.com. Again, that number for Ernest Gomez is 303-623-7000.
Ernest Gomez, thank you very much for being a supporter of KUHSDenver.com. Pay what you can. When's the last time you talked to a lawyer and said pay what you can? They look at you and say, that'll be $150 a minute I start speaking, okay? That's the way it happens. In the studio once again, Pauline, Rivera, and we were talking about the música, la cultura de Nuevo Mexico, because that was your front page cover, and like it says, Al Hurricane did deserve getting that. Great story, by the way, really good. Now, you've got the Viejitos de San Luis. Mejia's become quite a writer for you.
Yes, he has. He's a dynamite writer. We have lots of dynamite writers. I mean, Ernest Gurule, James Mejia, we have David Conde, we have Brandon Rivera. Dynamite folks in their own area. And we're doing series because we believe in topics that we believe are important to the Latino community. An interesting fact, I have a program called Where Are They Now? And we feature role models for families and children and students. And 95% of the folks that I have interviewed for that program their roots are from either northern New Mexico or southern Colorado.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
That is.
Very successful people. The other percentage of, Texas, Kansas, California, but a high percentage of them come from those two states. And I'm very proud of that because those are my two states. And so when we sit at the table and discuss topics like the San Luis Valley, Al Hurricane, they resonate and they mean something to everybody that's a Latino, I believe.
Right.
So that's why we try to bring to the forefront. That's why we have the San Luis Valley series.
And let's talk about your sports director.
Yes. Brandon. Yes, he does a great job.
Brandon, by the way, is your son.
My son.
And
yes.
And I remember the first story he did, and he's just gained experience and his knowledge of the world of sports by leaps and bounds. I gotta give him some props because I think he's doing some great stuff on there. And of course, you guys, what are you doing? 100,000 copies a week?
We reach 120,000 readers.
Okay,
yes.
120,000
readers. That's our readership.
Nice.
Doing very well. And again, expanding. We're in Pueblo recently. We were there. Let's see, we debuted there last August. So doing very well. The community is very accepting.
Good.
So, doing some great things. And if you have ideas out there that you think we should cover, please, by all means, pick up the phone, send us an email, whatever it might be. Send a message on Facebook.
Now, Mrs. Ulibarri handles your sales department?
She handles classified sales.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So any more information, or maybe you've been thinking about being a part of or targeting the Hispanic bilingual market, give them a number to call, Pauline.
Sure, it's 303-936-8556.
There you go.
Thank you. And
Give me that number again.
It's 303-936-8556.
Así es, amables amigos, para ustedes que están escuchando al nivel mundial, tenemos en persona Pauline Rivera, que es la dueña de La Voz de Colorado, y aquí está con nosotros disfrutando y nomás charleando un poquito, hablando de lo que es el periódico La Voz de Colorado, que es muy importante para el estado de Colorado, no nomás para el estado, pero para al nivel nacional e internacional, porque hay muchas historias y ese estilo bilingüe que pertenece a la comunidad latina. Así es, si tiene la oportunidad, give us the website.
Website is www.lavozcolorado.com.
Ahí está, lavozcolorado.com. Así es, para ustedes que están escuchando a nivel mundial, sintonice a ese periódico. Me parece que le van a hallar muy interesante. So there you go, Pauline. Thank you for taking time and stopping by. You're headed to a wedding, huh?
I am. Family wedding.
All right. Weddings
Looking
are
forward
always
to
fun.
it. Yeah.
Weddings are always fun.
I'm sure I'll hear El Hurricane music there as well.
Now, let's talk about our hurricane now that we're closing out. When is the show?
His show is August 29th at the Adams County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
We're a sponsor of that.
Nice.
And if we have time, just a quick story. When I was 19, I saw El Hurricane at the GAO that was owned by Paco Sanchez.
Wow.
The very first time, I have an album with all their signatures, and I'm taking it back on the 29th to get his signature again. So I see him for the last time on Saturday in his professional state.
Yes.
At the Adams County Fairgrounds.
So that is awesome.
There.
Well, you know, we plan on going, right? We're going, right?
Let's do it.
Because how many times did you bring in El Hurricane? Twice, 3 times?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, he brought El Hurricane in twice. One was right after his accident. And so, yeah, we go way back with El. So we're looking at bringing him in, doing an interview as well. I mean, you pretty much covered everything, but it's okay repeating it and talking. Well, you want to say hello and goodbye to everybody worldwide on television, on the internet? What do you want to say to familia?
I want to say thanks. New Mexico, Colorado, all of our country, all of our world internationally. We welcome your ideas. Visit us on our website if you're, in another country. We welcome your ideas, whatever you'd like to see in 2 languages. Our idea is to carry information in 2 languages and perpetuate the Spanish language as well. Thank you so much.
Pauline Rivera, La Voz de Colorado. Once again, hello to Athens, Greece. We got Romania, London, and the United Kingdom is locked in. And Brazil, saludo a brasileños. Santo Domingo, Dominica Republicana, también Germany is locked in. Boy, it's just rolling. It is rolling like I don't know what you did. It must be the face. Pauline Rivera, once again, live in studio at KUHS, Denver.com. Thank you for waking up on this Saturday and giving us a little bit of your time.
Gracias.
Everyone deserves a lawyer with a legal or